Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Shades of Reality. On today's show, I have the beautiful Shadia. Shadia is the founder of Tassa UK, a movement comprised of fashion and media. You specialise in bespoke women's wear.
Yeah.
You featured on various runways throughout the UK.
Yes.
I did meet Taasa at one of the fashion shows in Birmingham earlier on in the year, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's how we connected through that, so that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was a great show. Your designs were absolutely amazing, guys.
Thank you.
She is also the founder of an upcoming TV network, the Taasa TV Network, or the Taasa Network TV, also known as the TTN
Yeah.
TV
TTN
network.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's storytelling about real life issues. Would you say that's what?
So it's a space where the purpose is to create safe spaces where we can learn and grow with each other, learn from each other. No topic is out of, is off the limits. We speak about everything, anything. And yeah.
Yeah. And also, you've got so much going on. Also, upcoming podcast, that's part of the TV network, isn't it? The media side.
That's the first.
How it made me feel. That's educating.
So how it made me feel is a podcast series, which is going to basically, so on this podcast I'll be talking mainly about sexual assault. I'm a survivor, and so the podcast is basically going to be really about healing and sort of speaking to different people about what sexual assault even means, how we come from sex to becoming sexual assault. And basically, so I was assaulted by a man, and this podcast is my way of communicating to men. Most importantly, because I'm a mother as well. I have a boy child, and I have a very, very loving relationship with my father. And these two things put in place with my friends and the people that I speak to, it made me sort of question if people even know what exactly they are doing when they're doing it, or if they know what it makes other people feel when it actually does happen. And this is the reason as to why I came up with that podcast. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's not okay. But
It's not.
You've got through it, and
Yeah.
you've come out better, hopefully.
Yes, I think all my experiences as a person made me who I am. If I took one out and I nitpicked, I don't think I would be who I am. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Amazing. Tell us a bit about your background, Taasa. What inspired you to create the Taasa UK, the whole organisation? We'll talk about the fashion side first, because you've already developed that, because the media side's upcoming. So the fashion side, like I said, amazing bespoke women's fashion, guys, like 10-10. I'm not just saying that. I don't just promote anything, because I like substance, I like meaning, I like the whole feminine kind of thing going on, because I think we need to bring that back.
Yeah.
But that's another story. That's another conversation for another time. But it represents to me womanhood and just the old, femininity and my kind of style. What inspired you to create?
So Tassa is actually my name as well.
Oh, so Shadia Taasa. Her name's Shadia, guys. My name's Shadia and her name's Shadia. I was like, oh my God, you got the same name as me. So it's not many.
Yeah, we do have the
many
same name.
Black women that I work with another woman called Shadia.
Have you?
But it's not Shadia. Yeah, but I've only met one woman, and she's from the Caribbean background, called Shadia. And when I met her, that was over 20 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, your name's Shadia. So it's very...
Have you not met anybody else called Shadia?
Not Shadia. Shadia.
Sadia.
There's all different names, but your name's close to mine. So
Yeah.
because of oh my God, it's another... It's usually Asian women that I tend to find with the same name as me.
I think because it's a Muslim name.
It's Arabic. It's
Yeah,
not Muslim, it's Arabic.
Is it not?
Yeah, it's Arabic, because Muslims are religion, Arabic's a race, or should I say a nation? Whatever.
Okay.
Let's go into it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, what inspired you?
So Tassa was inspired by me and my story, how I become the person I am today. And the reason as to why I called it Taasa because when we are born, we are given names. And some of these things like names, are things that stay with us for the rest of our life. I feel like when it comes to a name, there's a purpose. There's a reason as to why your parents chose that name.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, I feel like even when we change it, something sticks to you. You get me? So, yeah, I chose my name because I wanted it to be an expression of who I am, where I've come from, where I get to go. You know, the future is bright, and I am very, very excited to see how that goes. But so for the fashion side of things, that inspiration came from during a time where I was a refugee, and I went through a lot of things. And one thing that
Was
I
that back
learned,
home, where you were from?
so I was a refugee in Kenya. I sought asylum in Kenya. I'm originally Ugandan, and yeah, so the brand comes from the Taasa brand comes from the fashion side of things. Comes from one, I love clothes. Who doesn't love clothes? You love clothes, right?
I love clothes.
Yeah. So I've always loved clothes. Growing up, I loved clothes, but I was restricted by my parents mostly. I come from a Muslim background.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always restricted, and through the restrictions, I felt like I couldn't express who I truly was through what I was given to work with. And from there, I was like, maybe I could make my own clothes, you know? Because I'm not skimpy, you know? I wouldn't wear something very short and very, you know? But at the same time, I don't want to be covered up and, you know, not that there's anything
People
wrong with
need
it.
to express their beauty some way. 'Cause it's all
Yeah.
about being it's the femininity in us. It's not the masculinity. That's where the separation is.
Yeah.
We are feminine. It's we don't need to show much, but to express our beauty in different ways. And
Yeah.
what you feel comfortable in. Me, I'm more of an internal person. I love fashion. I've always loved fashion and art. But I think it's because the influences I had as a child growing up, and I had so many different influences. So it was just so much going on, so much creativity going on. But I think it's an expression of who you are, and it's who you are without even saying who you are. So I think we
Yeah.
need to be. If we want, a lot of people want a certain I expect or require certain kind of like energy or kind of response from people. I think if you want that, you need to kind of
Dress the way
dress
you
the
want to
way
be.
you want to be respected. Like I should dress how I want. Yeah, you can, but other people. We live in a world where people they judge, including yourself, the person moaning about being judged.
Yeah.
No, it's true. We all judge. So if you want to be seen as a certain, then reflect that.
I think it's very important for people to understand, yes, there's a very, very huge importance in dress the way you want to be addressed. But at the same time, for me, people not to mistake the fact that who you are comes from the inside and not
100%.
necessarily on the
Yeah.
outside.
And it's not what you wear; it's how you wear it. I
Well,
believe
yeah.
in that. No, because like I says, I've been in predicaments where, like, I'd wear certain things, but men still wouldn't approach me. And even today, like, they won't approach me because I think it's the energy I let off. I don't know if it's, a scary one. But men will just probably look and be like, and they'll probably approach me in a different way. So I'd say that, like, I think most women, especially where we are from the culture, have experienced some kind of sexual assault. Not
Trauma.
yeah,
Something
trauma,
related
yeah.
to.
And I think we can learn from that. I think it's important we learn from that.
Learn from the sexual experience, the sexual trauma.
Yeah, just learn from our experiences in general and learn from the trauma and kind of just reflect and put it into practice to do better and kind of, all right, I know not to be in that predicament again. So you go back to where the trauma happened or what environment you was in at the time, and you can kind of learn. You should be analysing everything. I think that's just me. I'm very kind of like, I analyse things. I learn probably differently to others, and
Yeah.
I'm very disciplined, and I don't like repeating mistakes. I don't think no one does, but that I'm very disciplined, so I know what I
Yeah.
want, what I don't want. I don't always know what I want, but I always know what I don't want, and certain.
Do you sort of look at your patterns and examine yourself and you're like, I did this?
I
last
know that
time,
I
it
don't
didn't
need to
work
dress
out."
skimpy to get attention. I know it comes from within with me. So Taasa UK, best spot, you've done Manchester Runway, you've done Birmingham Runway. How was those experiences for you to get involved in network?
So back to the question you'd asked me before, what the inspiration for creating
Yeah.
Taasa fashion, the fashion side of things was, and for starters, it was the fact that I love clothes, but it was important for me to sort of gain access to the clothes that made me feel comfortable within who I am. And most clothes that I found out there, they would look good because, thank you, Lord, I'm blessed with the body,
Yeah.
but it didn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
So it was important for me to find that, and how to find the clothes these days are expensive.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to make them myself. And then afterwards, I started making clothes for women, you know, so I can empower them, you know. And yeah, so back to the question you asked about runways.
Yeah.
I've been on the Fashion Invasion Birmingham with Keely Atu. I don't know if you know her. That's where we
I don't
met.
know her personally, and I know one of the designers, Black Woman Fashion Show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Shane.
interviewed him previously. I've got an episode out with him.
Yeah.
On my channel. Yeah, I know them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I saw you that day. I'm like, ooh, okay, girl. Okay, I love it. But I was like, okay.
I felt like I was a bit the centre of attention that day, but I wasn't even in the show. I was like, "Are you in the model?" I'm like, "No." But yeah, just
Never
it's a
run
fashion
from
show.
attention,
You
it's
show up
amazing.
to. You're supposed to show up to the occasion. It's a fashion show. Show up as if you're representing, and that's what I did.
Yeah. No, you looked amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm
You're
starting my own line, but that's shh. As you know, it's
I already know. I'm going to be one of the models.
Yes,
Somebody
yes.
needs to know that.
we're not going to talk too much. But
Okay.
yes, so you've spoke about the fashion side of things. What's made you a student, media student?
Yes, I am a media student.
Yep.
I'm studying media and performance.
Yep. So is that kind of inspired you to do the media side of things as well? Kind of showcase who you are and what you represent, and have kind of create these spaces.
So the inspiration to get into media has always been there. I used to be an actor when I was a bit younger and
Okay.
dumb and and foolish. I used to be an actor, but I think it was God's way of showing me this might be where you belong, but maybe this is not the right time.
Yeah.
And then now coming back to it, it's like everything has been aligning me towards that particular route. And yeah, so that's why I'm there. I'm very passionate about TV cameras, especially in front of the camera. There's a friend of mine I told a few moments ago. I was like, I love attention. It's bad.
I love your honesty. I love it.
I love attention.
Right.
It's bad.
See,
but
I don't.
love it.
I see. I'm the total opposite. I like the right attention. I wouldn't say attention.
It's the right kind of attention,
I'm
though.
I'm quite like. I've been like that since a child. I'm very. Yeah. It's not probably not a good thing, but it depends. It depends.
I'm okay with my attention. Give it to me.
Give it to
I'm
you,
ready
I love
for
it.
it.
It's balance, isn't it? You need balance in life.
Yeah.
I think. So yeah. Okay, so that involves. Would you say the fact that you was a sexual assault victim has inspired you to come up with the idea of creating these safe spaces for women, not just women, people, men and women that have suffered from trauma and abuse in general?
So how I start working with people faced with gender-based violence goes way back to when I was working with refugees.
Was that back in Kenya?
Yes, when I was a refugee, I was also working for refugees, and I worked with women that have faced gender-based violence. And at first, I didn't know why I was working with them, I was so passionate about it. And it made me feel like, you know, a lot of things align. People need a voice, and I had a voice. I just didn't have anything to use it for. But
Would
you
you say?
understand?
Would you say as well? Would you say you was? I think environment matters as well, because I think if you got a nurturing environment that can help you, kind of raise. Was that? Do you think that was a? Could have been an issue as well at the time, or no? Or do you think it was just partly you?
It probably could have had an impact on it. I'm a firstborn in my family, so as a firstborn, you're basically the nurturer of your little siblings. Does that make sense? So it could have played a part in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could have played a part. But again, as you were saying, as I was saying earlier on, yeah, I worked with a couple of women. Some were sexual assault survivors, but not necessarily. And I had all these stories, and they spoke to me. I just didn't know how. Until more recently, about beginning of this year, was when I started getting my memories back. And my healing journey started then, when my memories came back. And I realized that, no, actually, this has happened to me before. And not once, not twice, multiple times. It happened 5 times before the age of 18. And different people. And you realize that every single time my memories went away. And when they went away, I still repeated the same exact.
Do you think they were suppressed? Your memories were suppressed, so
Yes.
Yeah.
So the brain protects you, and then the memories go away. But you're putting yourself in this situation, so you're not learning from your patterns. Does that make sense?
that's why I
Because
say
you can't see them.
it's so important.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the problem, but actually taking that step, reflecting and taking that practical step. That's why it's a reflective practice. It's practical. It's
Yeah.
not just thinking. It's theory and practice.
Yeah.
It's important, or it's not going to work. It
No.
has to be aligned. So yeah, we all know what problems are, but are we doing anything to kind of solve the problem?
Yeah.
And that means disciplining and being discernment and knowing the alarm bells ringing. Oh, that's happened before.
Yeah, like you've been here before.
And that's where boundaries are set, and that's where you understand who you are, and then you don't need to apologise. This is it. This is who I am, and this is this is, what my trauma's made me into this person, whether good or bad to you. It's good for me, and as long as we're comfortable with that and know that we're genuine in our truth, and we're showing as much love, as genuine love as possible, it's not in either here or there. I think so it's so important to create safe spaces and to be around like-minded, understanding individuals. I think that it's all right. We could have both been through something, but we've dealt with it similar. Our viewpoint's similar, our morals, our principles are similar. So we need to find those that are similar in order to share those experiences and learn and foster like kind of a safe, nurturing space for everybody. And I think that's a great idea. That's why I thought, the whole safe space around these uncomfortable conversations that no one really likes having.
Uncomfortable.
For a lot of people, it's accountability in it and being responsible, and a lot of people like, no, it weren't me, or I didn't know, or all right, you didn't know, but now you do, and what we're going to do.
And most people don't even say anything
better?
about it. First of all, most people don't say anything about it because there's again, back to safe spaces. There's not safe spaces. And when they are spoken about, most times they're spoken about in a light I am not very comfortable with, because yes, there's a side of being vulnerable, but how do I deal with what I am dealing with? Do you understand? Without getting re-traumatized. Then the third thing that was also important in me making the decision to make the podcast was most times men are not a part of the conversation surrounding sexual assault. And I'm not saying men are the only ones that sexually assault. No. Absolutely not. I'm not, just saying that in my own personal experience, it was men. And men are not in these conversations because, first of all, they're very uncomfortable, And second of all, it's like we as women don't create that safe space for men to also be a part of the conversations, because if these things are happening and men are doing this, and I know I'm speaking a lot about men, they should be a part of this, because there are men that don't do it, that want to teach their kids how to not go about education. You know, mentioned something about education, information, and that stood out to me because normally the more information we have about something, the more informed we are, the more aware we are when we are making decisions towards something. And I feel like the conversation around sexuality is in especially during the tender ages, is not talked about as much, because
what do you mean tender ages? What, in what sense?
To children, young adults, not
teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking
young adults, not like babies, not babies, but young adults, teenagers. Feel like, because I was introduced to sex through sexual assault, and I never had a conversation with my parents about sex.
I think because they don't know. Not your parents. No, I can only speak for my environment and my culture. They weren't taught, because there's a lot of broken homes. There's a lot of it's a mess out, from where I'm from. Culture, not just where I'm from, just the culture.
Where are you from?
I'm from Birmingham, but I'm talking generally the Afro-Caribbean background and whatnot. We've got the highest level of, broken homes within the UK. It's a mess. There's no excuses for it, and I think the more we educated on, casual sex and doing things, to me, the way we should, by getting married and having children, that's what I think. And casual sex creates broken homes. And you go into misunderstandings and what is deemed as right and what is deemed as wrong. There's a lot of women that have been assaulted, but they think it's normal, so they just carry on and they go through life being disrespected. Do you understand me? Going through this, making the same mistakes with different men because they haven't learned, because in the environment. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this is normal for a woman to go through this. Hurt them. Yeah, and I think we're the only culture that kind of celebrates that as a Caribbean. I don't know about Africa. I think now Western culture has just kind of manipulated everything. So when you get over these kind of like overseas, I think that's where, I don't know what it's like in Africa so much, because I've only been more on the East Africa. I haven't really been to the West. I haven't been Ghana for like 10 years, but the East Africa I'm more familiar with. It's more cultural and rooted there, so I can't really say much, but I've met a lot of Ghanaians and Nigerians, and they're very westernised, and it's like 10, 15 years ago, it's like they kept the culture, marriage was a thing, that was like, just doing whatever. I don't know if it's the culture when they come here, but I think we need to be, if you want to go out and have casual sex, know the consequences. That's all. I'm not saying you can't do it.
I think it's very important to have conversations around what's safe and what's not safe, and how to play it safe.
I think so as well, but then we come to a point where is that objective or subjective? Is it a perspective or is it a fact?
Well,
how are you educating from a personal perspective, or are you educating from a factual based, statistical, and both?
I think the conversations shouldn't be in a sense of personal experience. I feel like I would have benefited more from somebody telling me this is what happens, because the way I've grown up, the way I was raised, I used to have these very long conversations with my father, and he would tell you about the consequences of what the decisions you're about to make are, and then he will finish the conversation by saying, but the ball is in your hands.
Yeah.
So you choose whether to keep a hold of it or to let it drop, But given the information, I would then be able to decide, is this what I want to be doing, or is this really not what I want to be doing?
Exactly. As a woman, because I think women, we make the choice as well. We have the key, not the men. We do. We make the choice. We choose to bring life into the world. We choose who we let into our spaces. So we need to start taking control over that more, as well, kind of thing. But I think that comes with self-awareness and experience and age. But there needs to be more of us on of the older generation teaching the younger generation. I think there's not much of that personally.
That also comes from the older generation being willing to heal.
Yeah, that's it. 100%. Yeah. There's a lot of that needs going on, and but it is what it is. We've all got our time, and a time to come forward and discover who we are, and it's everyone's got their timing. So I think it's that really. What impact do you want to have, like, as an organisation? What impact? What's your goal for future aspirations on society? What impact do you want on the environment? What impact do you want on society in social economic terms with your organisation? Like the purpose, the aims, the objectives. Where do you want to go with Taasa? Because it's an amazing project, and I think that in the world we're going into, I think that could be part of the one of the sustainable goals agenda, Agenda 30, which that's where we're going now. We're heading into that. Yeah, we're heading into, are you sustainable in the new world? How do you fit into that? Because you're still young, you're in your 20s, so you've got, you're the younger generation to me. So how do you fit? What has Taasa got to give to the world? What are you?
So Taasa, first and foremost, is not in a box. It's the hope is for it to grow beyond what I could ever imagine it to grow into. But what I have for now, or what my intention is first of all to put stories out there, educate people, learn from, because it's not me putting stories out there for people to learn. I'm learning too. Do you get me? So education, information, and then secondly, representation. That's a very big one for me, because growing up, I've always wanted the kinds of things I wanted. I didn't see people like me doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
And the kinds
There's
of
no inspiration.
Yeah,
like where I'm from, it was always this TV.
Yeah,
or something, radio. Or it was never an environmental thing with me. I was never inspired by my environment, which is sad. But you inspire yourself, don't you?
Yeah. So with me, the inspiration was there. They just didn't look like me. Does that make sense? They didn't look like me. For example, there's times when I was so obsessed with this acting thing, and my major the people that I used to look at and be like, he just did it. There were male figures, going and fighting and
was this in real
combat.
Life?
Yes.
Was it
on
back
TV?
home?
Yes.
On TV.
When I was young, yeah.
Was this off TV more, or would you say real life experiences?
So my inspiration came from TV mostly.
Yes, same as me. It wasn't an immediate environment. It wasn't a real life environment. It was off the TV.
Yeah, because most of the times I found myself wanting to escape what I was
the reality
of my life. And I'm not saying it was poor or it was wrong or bad or anything like that. It was just, I found myself wanting to...
You're bigger than that.
I found myself wanting to see life from different perspectives from what was my reality at the time.
Because there's more to life than that.
So second thing is representation. Third is healing. I've grown up with a lot of anger. And there's people that I meet in life and you're like, you're angry.
Because you can feel...
I've been that girl. I've been there. You're very, very angry. And I want to sort of share my story and how I've been able to sort of let go and move into a space where I'm at peace with myself, within and on the outside. And I want to share that. So somebody that is going through exactly what I was going through has somebody to maybe sort of look at and be like, if she can go through it, maybe I can. Do you understand?
Get out of it. Better, 10 times better. So what's the future? Have you got any shows coming up for Taasa UK? Is there anything in the pipeline with the fashion apart from my upcoming clothing line launch?
Well, that one.
Is there anything Taasa UK is involved in the near future?
Yes, there's a couple of fashion shows coming up. Blackfest, which is in Liverpool, and Cultureville, is another show that I was planning on doing. So those are the two runway shows that we were planning on doing. There's a project coming up for next year where I will be Taasa UK will be sponsoring 10 brides.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we'll be making it's gonna be like a show where we are helping 10 brides get their dream dress. So whoever is getting married next year, maybe you could be one of my brides.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that maybe is coming up for Taasa is not Taasa, but oh no, that's not Taasa, that's Shadia. Two different entities, but I will be running on the Miss Pride of Africa pageant.
Oh, lovely.
And yeah, so that's what is coming up.
A lot going on.
Yeah, quite a lot before the end of the year as well.
Can't wait.
I know.
Thank you for coming on to Shades of Reality and sharing your amazing inspirational journey. I can't wait to see what Taasa UK has in store for the future. Guys, Instagram, what other social media?
So my personal Instagram is Shadia Taasa.
Yeah.
And then the Instagram for the Taasa Network, which is TTN TV, is the Taasa Network. And then Taasa Fashion is Taasa.uk.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, guys.